Welcome to Estrada Sisters Connect. We are your hosts. I'm Patricia Estrada,
And I'm Veronica Estrada.
and we are super excited to be back again with you this week. We're going to be talking about all the different types of therapies that Veronica has tried. She's going to, yes, all of them. She's going to
Some
be,
of them, actually.
she's going to be vulnerably sharing her trajectory with us, and we're super thankful to hear it. So, Veronica?
Sure. Thanks for that intro, sister. But the truth of the matter is that I have had a lot of experience in therapies for a long time. It all started when I was 17, and we were asked to go to therapy by Child Protective Services. So that actually opened the door to, because I was 17 at that time when I went to Pepperdine, every year you got 10 free sessions with a therapist. And that was a game changer because first I noticed, ooh, like this is what therapy is when we were with our family. And then I went by myself because I had really crazy, I had rage issues when I was in college, and it came because my romantic relationship at the time just led to these explosive fights. And so I didn't want to be like that, right? And I didn't want to continue to break things, like break my phones or hit my car or, take it out on inanimate objects. And I didn't want to keep being this angry person. So I started going to therapy there. So that was my first talk therapy solo experience. And I don't really remember it, but it was really great and it was helpful for what it was at the beginning. And then I tried another type of talk therapy, which is called cognitive behavioral therapy, and for short, it's CBT. So that one focuses on really looking at your behaviors and your ways of coping with things. Again, the anger issues kept showing up in romantic relationships and at work. So at that point, I was in my early to mid 20s. I was under a lot of stress. I was learning a lot of things. I was making a lot of mistakes. I was also thriving in my career. So I went to my primary care physician and I told him about my anger problems. And he suggested that I go to cognitive behavioral therapy to see if I could undo those patterns of behavior. And that was like that talk therapist that I was mentioning that would sort of turn things around and make them about her. And, there was a lot of value in it at that time for me just because I was so closed off. So I did get to glean some benefits from it, but that therapist also ended up, which is another type of therapy, being a couples therapist, because she was also like a relationship expert. So at that time I was in, a serious relationship with my partner. We were living together and we were at odds quite often. And we went to see her a few times, but my partner at the time did not like going because it ended up just turning into like a messy thing where I maybe pretended everything was fine all the time. And then we'd go to therapy and it'd be like, bam, you did this and that, or you didn't do that. And I would just be like sobbing. And he was just kind of like, what the F, what happened? Like I had no idea, So that's just where I was in my life, in my journey. And that's just what I did.
Let's pause real quick because that's, my questions to you are, number one, why do you think that the doctor that you went to recommended cognitive behavioral therapy? Like, did you tell him that you were just not interested in any type of medication? Like, I'm just curious.
It was, I think it was in conjunction with a medication he prescribed. And studies have shown that cognitive behavioral therapy and medication together can help with depression or depressive episodes or anger and things like that. So it was in conjunction with meds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to, for clarity and everything. And then
Yeah.
another question is, so how long did you try a different therapist for cognitive behavioral therapy? Given
No.
this one was the one that was not so great. Okay, just curious.
No, because I think in looking back, I remember the bad stuff, like the typical cognitive dissonance, but I think I did get a lot out of it. You know, I remember she did an accountability event, and like I learned so much through that. There was a lot of good, I think, for the most
How
part
long,
in that
how long did
relationship.
you see her? How long did you see her?
Maybe 2 years.
And then when did it transition into couples therapy?
Towards the end of our professional relationship. Yeah,
How
towards the end.
long, and sorry, just, and then I'll let you continue after this, but how long did you go to couples therapy for?
We only went like 3 or 4 times.
Wow, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Because he said that she was on my side and that he was feeling attacked and that it wasn't a fair sort of session because she was my therapist, right? And then he was sort of brought into it after all the stuff I probably talked about him, you know, and like how upset it made me. Then I bring him in like, hi. And so obviously it was
Okay.
sort of,
I know that
yeah, it was.
mental health connect, like mental strata sisters connect, and it's like about mental health. Like we're sisters, and so just to, I'm not gonna go off on this, but like that dude had a problem. Sorry. I'm sorry. Everybody's on their own path and everybody has a different upbringing and everybody is, you know, and we're not here to bash anybody. Of course, you obviously had issues as well. If you
Hell yeah, I had hella issues. Yeah, and
let's get back to your story because
yeah,
I'll bring it back to
yeah,
what you said, which you said was, you said that you were acting like everything was normal at home, but then of course you were going into these sessions and bawling your eyes out. So that tells us a lot about how you felt about communicating.
right. I had, yeah, right.
But anyway, we can
Yeah,
get to your
yeah.
therapies that you
So
tried. So yes.
yes, yes. So then cognitive behavioral therapy, the good thing that came out of that is that after I practiced all the things she asked me to practice, to change my behaviors, to change my emotions, to change these, I guess, toxic coping mechanisms, she's like, okay, you've tried it. You did it. Good job. I think that we should make the recommendation that you need, you know, to take other medication. And that's where the Adderall came in. That's where the ADHD diagnosis came in. And so that led to another access to technology. I see meds and prescription drugs as a technology that can help us move forward in our lives and heal and succeed while, you know, without really like throwing our whole lives out of balance and going on like a sabbatical to find ourselves. Like meds are really a phenomenal technology that helped me take myself and my career to the next level and really just focus. So I didn't know that I wasn't diagnosed with ADHD when I was a child. So I went through college, I went through everything without the support of that, you know, technology. So that was big. And I think I need a little break right now.
Yeah, that's okay. And actually, I wanted to thank you so much for sharing. I mean, I know exactly what that feels like to have to take a breath and to recoup your thoughts because this is really deep stuff. And you guys, like this is the first time that so the last episode was me sharing the therapies that I've tried, and this is the episode of Veronica sharing where the therapies that she's tried. And this is like the first, that's why I'm asking these questions, because I don't know a lot of these things. And so as sisters,
Yeah.
we don't know. So that's why we're having
Right.
conversations. That's why it's so important to us to do these videos, to show up, to provide this type of content, because we just wish that somebody had told us. And I want to commend you, Veronica, for having decided to go back to therapy after that experience that we had as children, because we're going to probably come back and talk about that another day. But I had not even counted that as therapy because it was so useless to me, because mom, bless her heart, trying to make sure that she didn't like get in trouble, like would go in and I think like act like everything was okay. I wonder where you got that habit from. So,
Oh.
light bulbs, message. So, you get that reference, you're a real one. But anyway, so yes, I want to commend you for number one, going back to therapy after that. And I'm so glad that you had that support at Pepperdine. And then number two, for being so open, upon the recommendations of these professionals to take these medications, because I was so and we'll talk about this again. Like we said in the last episode, I was going to get into psychiatry and going to seek out a medication. I was
right.
For years, I was like, I can do it myself. I can do it myself. I can do it myself. I can do it myself.
Right.
And like,
well,
go ahead. So go ahead.
What I want to say on that is that because I was in a professional setting, so first I was at Pepperdine, so ultra high net worth children, students, they all were taking Adderall. They all had access to Ritalin, to meds, okay, even for depression. So I saw that and I was like, oh, okay, I mean, I guess. Then I went into the professional world and people were taking meds for depression, meds for ADD, meds for anxiety. They, like, my boss would take her happy pill, which was half of a Xanax, in my world where I was like one of the only Latinas, for a long, long, long time. And I saw the behaviors of these top performers all around me, these people with high, high levels of education and wealth. And they all went to therapists. They all took meds. All of them. Okay, you know what I mean? The great majority, it wasn't like a thing. It was just like, oh yeah, like duh. And so to me, I was so busy assimilating, to fit in and be accepted, that I just went with it. I took it and I ran with it. And then when I saw the improvement on my work performance, I was like, hell yeah, this is awesome. That's why I was always such a huge proponent for taking meds, because it changed my life. And again, in my bubble, it was normal. So this is, again, another why we're having this conversation, because not everybody has access to that type of workplace or white collar, high performing environment or private universities. But let me tell you right now, that's what's going on, because in our culture, it's so taboo, and we already know, we keep ourselves from accessing these worlds. And that's, again, why Estrada Sisters Connect exists, because we want to share these perspectives with you so that you can open your mind and have a different perspective about what is mental health, what is helpful, what isn't, like, what am I doing here, right? Because it is uncharted territory for a lot of us. Like my mom in El Salvador, when was they ever going to have a therapist and or even meds, right? So how was she going to know? She was never going to know, right? So we actually had to be the ones to introduce that to her. And that's a whole nother episode.
To pause you right there. So let's get back on the track, on the track of your therapies. So
yeah,
so it was, just to get back, you said
so I had, we talked therapy, then it was but cognitive behavioral therapy, couples therapy. And then the last one that I want to touch on is somatic experience therapy. That one was a game changer in my life, because I only had 6 sessions, but every session, and I signed up to do it right after my best friend passed away. So I was already in a very raw and vulnerable space. I already had a sense that my long-term, at that point it had been 7-year relationship, was not going to be the one, even though we were engaged. So there was a lot of turmoil going on, but I got a recommendation from another working professional about somatic experience therapy. It was really expensive. I think it was like $175 a session. And that was beautiful, because it just went into the traumatic memories. And she walked me through it and held this very safe space. And we would almost visualize me, not almost, what that process specifically was like, visualizing little me because it was dealing with my childhood trauma and in that situation, but being able to respond in an empowering way or saying no or saying stop or saying whatever it may be, right, in that situation. So I could see the memory, I could relive it, but then also almost reconfigure it to something that was empowering. And those sessions afterwards, I felt like my heart burst open with love. And I just felt like this love charge going through my body. And I had had panic attacks before. So just like a panic attack, it's all encompassing and you feel like the world is like closing in on you. This was a love attack, which I've heard is an actual thing. And it's like love, it was like it unlocked something in me from the trauma that the trauma blocked and it unlocked it. And then just love was like flowing through me and I couldn't even move. I just was like, I remember my ex would pick me up and I would just be like, I can't really talk right now. And I'd just be like, oh, like feeling just so much love flowing through me from taking my power back, you know, from those traumatic experiences. So somatic experience therapy, I think was like one of the last ones I did. Oh no, and then I got a Latina therapist, which was also a game changer. But I think in terms of therapies that are traditional, this is where I'll stop. And then we'll have another episode on more of like my spiritual journey and, you know, plant medicine exploration and things like that. But yeah, I think if you're ready and you're ready to do some real deep healing work, somatic experience therapy is where it's at.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I have a question about it. So where was this happening in LA? Like, oh yeah, so this is in LA. So like what part of town was this in?
Santa Monica.
Okay. So the reason I ask these questions, so I don't know where people are watching from, but I did not realize that like somatic therapy was like something that happened in the city. I thought that it was one of the things that you had done either in Mexico or in another like South American country that you had perhaps gone to. So up until now, like my sister Veronica has talked to me about somatic therapy a lot of times. And I just didn't realize that it was so accessible. I mean, accessible in the sense that you don't have to travel to do it. Of course, we understand that 175 dollars per session is not cheap. And actually, generally in therapy, you know, that's the main issue with it, I think, is the cost. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely something that we have to actively, you know, want to do. But in any case, mm-hmm. Thank you so much for sharing that, sister, because so it sounds a little bit like EMDR, except for, can you describe, and we've already, I'm not sure how long we've been going, but I think this is important. Can you just describe a little bit about how she held safe space for you? Like, what did the room look like that you walked into? Like, what was that initial consultation like?
The initial consultation was over the phone. Okay. And when I went in, because I had already been going to a lot of therapists and healing and then Izzy dying, it was just like, and I had been meditating too. So like I had grown so much. So I was really like, all right, let's effing do this shit. Like I'm not holding back. I just dove in. Yeah, I wasn't like tiptoeing around. I was like, bitch, this is $175 an hour. What the fuck are we doing today? Like, this is changing my life, right? Like, I'm paying you. Like, this is happening. Okay, Felicia? Her name is Felicia. She's freaking awesome. And last time I saw her, by the way, it was in September 2020 when I went to move my things out of storage in LA and I was having a lot of fear and anxiety and I saw her and it was the pandemic. So we did a Zoom call and I had my last session with her wasn't that long ago. And it was, again, super powerful.
Can we get back to how the room looked then? Like what kind of space is it in?
Yeah, I mean, it was a just really clean, nice, white, soothing, calming space. And like I would have like a pillow. Like she had these fuzzy pillows, so I was able to like hug them and just, I think she also had like an anxiety blanket, like a weighted blanket that I was able to put on just to feel like extra safe. And I think she did do some of those things with the eyes, like, okay, well, look at this, or come back into the room. And actually it was grounding. Now that I'm talking about it, it was like, look at what are 5 things that you can see? What can you touch? What can you feel? And just bringing me back into my body.
Thank you, because I didn't know. Like, I again, like when I hear like somatic experience therapy, like to me it sounds like some woo-woo bullshit, you know? Which it's funny for me
Yeah.
because I'm very much into the woo-woo bullshit.
Yeah. But it's about somatic, it's like your physical experience, right? So it's because, as that book says, the body remembers, trauma lives in the body, it's in our cells. And this is also where Estrada Sisters Connect came from, because we're talking about healing intergenerational trauma that lives in the cells, in our DNA, that got passed down from a people who were historically, abused, saw war, all the things, right? So again, the somatic experience takes it out of your body almost in a very real way, So that's another level of just healing and somatic experience. You can just Google it and look for a practitioner in your area, and it's like amazing.
Thank you. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, sister, for taking the time, for opening up, for being so vulnerable. It's really impressive, for me as your sister, and it's impressive that I didn't know a lot of these things. That's what we're here
for. It just happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Over so many years too, it happened.
And so, thank you, sister, because everybody's path is unique. And so I hope that you can see that, we're both in very, like, I want to say similar places in our mental health journeys, to the point where we're able to talk about these things candidly and to the public.
On camera.
Yeah, to the public. So that's the thing. I think that's the sense that we're in the same place, that we have grown so much. And so we're really, really happy to be able to connect in this way, in a public way, for all of you guys to be able to know that this is accessible to you, at least, disregarding the financial aspect of it. This is not just for like rich people, like, or like not rich, but I hate to say it, but like it's not just for white people, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
definitely something that we need to take embrace with open arms, because like, and I want to end the episode really soon, but what you were saying about healing intergenerational trauma, like I saw a post on I don't remember which page right now, but I'll try to share it, and it was saying,
we'll put it in the show notes,
ancestral mathematics, and it's like 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great grandparents, and so on and so forth. And so it takes, like, in the last 400 years, it was like over 2,000 people. It took over 2,000 people for you to exist in this moment. And so I got chills, like just thinking about that again, because that's
the ancestors are giving you a little pat on the back.
Yeah, so it's important for us to keep that in mind, and that's why we are how we are and where we are, and so we have this opportunity to take our lives back. So thank you for joining us this week.
Exactly. Yes, and stay tuned for more Estrada Sisters Connect. We will see you next week. Bye.